Welcome to Vanguard Brigade. Today we are breaking down the Russia-Ukraine conflict using facts. Despite what you might be hearing in mainstream media about Russia being pushed back and suffering unsustainable losses, the real situation on the ground tells a very different story. We have to understand that Russia is fighting a war of attrition, one where they are deliberately targeting Ukraine's key energy hubs, transport facilities, and critical infrastructure to make daily survival nearly impossible during this brutal winter. Make no mistake, this Russian tactic is working, and it is designed to systematically test the patience and willpower of both the Ukrainian people and their Western allies 4 years into this conflict. Now, this is not to say that Russia is not suffering losses. They absolutely are, and the human cost on their side is significant. However, they are not losing this war. Despite heavy sanctions and economic pressure, the Kremlin has managed to maintain a wartime economy capable of sustaining the conflict for much longer than Ukraine can. Let's look at what has happened in the front lines in the past 24 hours. While Russia focuses on infrastructure, Ukrainian drone strikes have continued to hit deep inside Russian-held territory. We have received verified reports that Ukrainian strikes have hit crucial radar systems and vital military infrastructure across Crimea and within Russia itself, aiming to blind Russian air defenses. In the Zaporizhzhia area, a Ukrainian Navy helicopter crew successfully intercepted and destroyed hundreds of Russian drones. Ukraine has also completely destroyed a major ammonium nitrate plant in Dorogobuzh near Smolensk by drone strikes deep in Russia. Moving to the front lines in the Donetsk region near Pokrovsk, the 3rd Separate Special Purpose Regiment of the Ukrainian Special Forces was engaged in a fierce battle, successfully repelling a Russian infiltration attempt and conducting a dangerous evacuation of a wounded soldier under fire. The fighting is very fierce here, and it is one of the most active zones of the front line. In the Kupiansk region, troops from the 101st Separate Territorial Defense Brigade have been aggressively clearing Russian positions using explosives, fighting room to room to hold the line. As we can observe, Ukrainians are throwing everything at the Russians at the moment, but let's also look at Russia's response over the past 24 hours. Following the restrictions and the ban of Starlink for Russian forces, they have become significantly more creative with their deployment methods, finding new ways to launch drones and missiles that bypass conventional electronic interference. In a major move, a Russian drone strike hit residential buildings and shopping centers in Zaporizhzhia. The Russian forces seem very focused on taking this entire region and are fighting hard to finally expel the remaining Ukrainian presence from the area. This was followed by an overnight combined attack on the Kharkiv region, where Russian forces used a mix of strike drones and heavy artillery, leaving 14 people injured and shattering the windows of multiple apartment blocks as they continue to pressure the northern axis. The pressure didn't stop there. A night attack on the Poltava region severely damaged industrial sites and power infrastructure, with debris and direct strikes cutting power lines and plunging thousands of households into darkness. In the capital, a Russian aerial attack on Kyiv overnight resulted in multiple fires and damage across different districts, as falling debris from intercepted missiles struck residential sectors. Furthermore, a Russian strike in the Dnipropetrovsk region caused injuries to several civilians and damaged vital local infrastructure, proving that the reach of these attacks remains wide-ranging. Overall, the Russians have significantly upped their strategic strikes against targets deep inside Ukraine, specifically zeroing in on key infrastructure and energy facilities. By focusing on these high-value targets, they are clearly aiming to cripple the Ukrainian rear and exhaust the nation's defensive capacity as we move further into 2026. Beyond the strategic strikes, the fighting in the Sumy region is intensifying. We are seeing a significant escalation in this sector, but it appears the Ukrainian Special Forces currently have the upper hand. Specifically, operators from the 140th Special Operations Center successfully intercepted and destroyed a Russian assault group that had attempted to push through the border. This kind of high-stakes, small-unit engagement is becoming the norm in the north as both sides scramble for control of the forest belts. On the diplomatic front, the landscape is just as complicated. President Zelensky recently stated that the United States is prepared to lead a ceasefire monitoring mission, as current talks regarding the future of the Donbas have shown almost no progress. While Washington is hoping to find a path to end the war by June, the political deadlock remains firm, with both Kyiv and Moscow holding diametrically opposed positions on territorial sovereignty. Adding another layer to this, President Putin is currently engaged in high-level talks with the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. This meeting is a strong signal that the Union state is tightening its military and economic integration, potentially opening the door for even more Belarusian involvement, or providing a staging ground for a renewed northern pressure campaign. Meanwhile, in Brussels, the European Union is frantically searching for a way to bypass Hungary's persistent blockade of a crucial €90 billion loan to Ukraine. This financial stalemate, driven by disputes over energy pipelines and internal EU politics, is preventing Ukraine from receiving the critical aid it needs to sustain its defense industrial base. As the political and military chess match continues, the stakes for 2026 couldn't be higher. Thank you for joining the Vanguard Brigade today. If you found this analysis helpful and want to stay updated on the real situation on the ground, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be here with the next update soon.